Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard video. Today, shout out to Devin Fuller, subscriber, who suggested that I jump into a standard metagame challenge or try one of these out. I only have 3 hours to give it a go. I'm going to run it back with my Sultai Deserts list from the last video, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out for a detailed description of the deck list. I'll show it real quick. Pretty much the same list from the previous video. Sultai Deserts, mid-range / control E list with a lot of value. Slight changes this time around from the previous video. Down 1 Esper Origins, up 1 Winternight Stories, and then trying out a little spicy Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong in the sideboard. Just got my ass kicked by mono white mid-range, and I'm like, they have Get Lost, a big Planeswalker in the top end wouldn't be super helpful. They just keep piling out board after board. I need like a game-ending value engine so I can keep up with their ability to outvalue me. And this is what I got. Going to be difficult for them to deal with, relying on Get Lost as their main source of removal. Otherwise, pretty much the same list. 26 lands, Bonnie Paul's in the top end, a couple Lessons from Life, some board wipes, and a lot of removal. Just a lot of removal. Oh, also down 1 Deadly Cover-Up in the main, and up 1 Dave Black Sun in the main, but shifting one of the Deadly Cover-Ups into the sideboard. I found that Dave Black Sun is pretty good. It's pretty good, especially with all the Isit prowess still running around, and it gives you a good chance at answering like Simic or Boroid starts if you are on the play at the very least. Still on these Disdainful Strokes, although I think they probably should be spell snares, at least a couple of them. But without further ado, let's hop in. Now, one thing about these standard metagame challenges is they are play until you lose, basically. So if I lose once, that's it. That's the video. So let's try not to lose the first match at least and see how far we can go. Wait, are these best of 1? These have to be best of 3, right? Okay, it looks like they are best of 3. We're starting out on the play. Pretty good opener here. Lots of board wipes. And eventually some action once we get to 4 mana. Crossing our fingers that these board wipes are relevant, I guess. Double black. Need to draw into some lands for sure. Maybe not the best opener, but we'll try it blind. Lead on a Festering Gulch here. Lead on a Festering Gulch. Been liking the Sultai Deserts lists lately. Definitely a high contender for what I may eventually bring to RC Cincinnati. I'm also really, really excited for all of the extra stuff that this list gets from Strixhaven. We draw into an Esper Origins. But a lot of other Deserts lists might get extra material. Actually, I'm kind of thinking Abzan might be a good direction to go. Weirdly enough, we're not super reliant on our blue cards in the first place. Skip over both of these. Try to hit a land here in the future. We're kind of chilling. We're not super reliant on our blue cards in the first place for the main strategy. It's mostly a Golgari deck in the first place, right? But let's just grab a Lush Oasis here. That should be fine. But because the certain color combinations are getting benefits or getting like actual additions to their repertoire, with the addition of Strixhaven. So it's Orzhov, Simic, Isit, Golgari, and the last one. And only only those color combinations are getting like, guild specific inclusions in the next set. So there's kind of a real reason to be on Abzan because you get the Golgari side of things and the Orzhov side of things. What is that last one? I can't for the life of me remember. We'll leave an island on top here. Let's go ahead and just start ripping these Esper Origins. Got to assume they're going to be countering these here pretty soon. Boros is the last one, although it's technically called like Lorehold or whatever. So a real reason to consider Abzan in the future, even though I have not been super thrilled with Abzan Deserts in the past. One of the big things that is pulling me in that direction, at least hypothetically, is the 1 mana sort of like new Path to Exile effect. I think that's a pretty big deal for the Deserts lists. Having cheap universal interaction hits planeswalkers, would play pretty nicely with Free Strider Lookout, so on and so forth. Conversely, I am kind of worried that that card is going to be pretty good against us in general. And we're not going to have a whole lot of time to prepare with the Strixhaven metagame going into the RC Cincinnati. It's like, I guess I'm gonna rip I'm gonna rip another Lessons from Life here. It feels like they don't have counter magic, and I'll get to commit my crime off of the Free Strider Lookout if they let me put this Festering Gulch into play. I could just do it, but yeah, this is okay. If I just keep ripping Lessons from Life, I'm feeling pretty good in this matchup, I think. We draw into a Bonnie Paul. That's pretty key here. They could have a board wipe. Handful of board wipes against my Jeskai control opponent, unfortunately. A little tilted in this, like, interaction direction, match 1. Which is good broadly in the meta, but definitely leads to some awkward game 1s against control here. Not the end of the world. We'll see if this Bonnie Paul plus Bow sticks around. So yeah, the other, Sultai could be another good color combination because we'll get the Simic cards and the Golgari cards as well. I'm also like, part of that is just that I think the charms for all of the schools are pretty good, generically pretty good. So that may play a factor. I'm most excited about the Golgari charm personally, or Witherbloom charm, perhaps it's called. And pass it back. Just play a little Drago here. But there might be a reason to be in white for the Orzhov one, or if you're in blue, maybe you play one of the Simic ones. They're not like, I think the Simic and the Orzhov charms, I keep saying like the RTR guild names, but that's just what they are, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Those cards are going to be a little less universally strong, I think, for this style of deck than the Golgari one, but still maybe worth an include. I believe the Simic one says, like, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2, or target creature gets base power and toughness 5/5, or destroy target enchantment, all of which is pretty decent. The counter piece is pretty relevant across the whole game, and then being able to, like, buff your Outcaster Greenblade's base power and toughness for, like, a cheeky +4/+4, essentially. Not irrelevant. Maybe the weakest for a desert-style shell. We draw another Bonnie Paul. See if this resolves. May or may not. The Orzhov one, I believe, says something like, Lightning Helix your opponent's face. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. Or exile target creature with power 2 or less. I could be wrong on that one. Not positive on that last mode. Something along those lines. That one seems fine. Maybe worth including one. Just as a little form of extra reach. I don't know. Maybe that's actually the weakest for deserts. But the Golgari one seems super, super good. Gain 5 life. Super relevant against aggro matchups, or matchups where your opponent is playing burn. You just get to, like, counter a burst lightning essentially in the late game, like a kicked burst lightning. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Super good. Super broadly applicable. And then you may sacrifice a permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards. Crazy good. Like, your opponent goes to remove your creature, you get to Witherbloom command to draw 2 cards instead. Pretty sweet. All super, super good. I think could be kind of a transformative card for Golgari-based desert stacks going forward. I have to imagine that in any Golgari-based desert deck, it's pretty reasonable to run at least 2 Witherbloom commands. Opponent is starting to cast Jeskai Revelations. I'm not feeling super good about that with my hand. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to scoop quite yet, but definitely looking forward to our sideboard here. Got a lot of pretty good stuff for this matchup in the sideboard. This could just be it cracks me up that this could be the whole video. So I'm sorry if that's disappointing to anyone, that this is just like, this is the match and I lose it and that's it. But I don't know, kind of a fun space to talk about Strixhaven spoilers at the very least, and what that could imply for the future of Deserts. Rip a Day of Black Sun, try to clear up these monks. Just gonna try to put a Spinewoods Armadillo on the field. I don't have I don't have a ton of threats in my main deck on this list. They spell snare my Day of Black Sun. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go for another one here. Pretty funny. I think the Golgari Planeswalker is a big gain for the list as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I'll skip on the Armadillo for now. I don't want it to get no more liesed. Pass it back to you. Fires up the Mistrise Village. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't have counter magic in the main here, but could be relevant when we go to game 2. Another Jeskai Rev. Kind of annoying. Not unbeatable. Back to you. The new Planeswalker, 4 mana, 5 loyalty, +2? +2, I believe, to gain 3 life. It's got a 0 effect too, doesn't it? 0 to like draw a card, lose 1 life. -2, maybe? Don't quote me on this. I don't have it in front of me. Off of memory. Some minus effect to destroy target creature. I think it's got to be like a -3. And then it's got some ultimate, you know, who really cares about that part, but all of the modes pretty relevant for the style of list as well. Just being able to like have a generic piece of removal that also threatens to like you get like an emblem, I think, that says whenever you gain life, your opponent loses life. That's probably not super relevant for this build. The ultimate, but the rest is pretty good. Just a machine that threatens to gain 3 life every turn. That alone is pretty good, or draw cards when it's relevant. Both modes pretty relevant, right? Like obviously in this kind of matchup, you'd want to be drawing cards every turn, but plenty of matchups where just threatening to gain a bunch of life back can put the game out of reach for your opponent. It's at least worth including as a one of, probably. Could be better than that. We'll see how it plays. 4 mana is kind of a lot, but rolling up to like 7 loyalty, that's a big number for a 4-drop Planeswalker. That's a pretty big number. What do we think, folks? Pack it in? Do we just pack it in here? Yeah, double stock up. All right, I'm convinced. I've seen enough. Moving to game 2 here. Never give up. We have a lot of material for this matchup. First off, cut the requiting hexes. I actually think Day of Black Sun is kind of a reasonable include. Let's see what we're going up. We're going up the Riverturn Monuments, going up the Disdainful Strokes, going up the Planetarium, going up the Surax, the Deceits, the Okos. Can go down the Desert Stews. The Bitter Triumphs can be okay. Maybe we don't need the Day of Black Sun, but a couple Deadly Cover-Ups are okay too. Cease Desist, it really depends on what else they're doing. Maelstrom Pulse is pretty bad in this matchup, generally. Kind of just a sorcery speed 1-for-1. I think it's better to have more specific answers in this matchup, especially ones that have... especially ones that are instants. Let's go ahead. I think maybe 1 Cease Desist looks okay here. 2 Deadly Cover-Up, 3 Bitter Triumph, D-Strokes. All seems pretty okay to me. The important piece here is keep a hand that is leaning threat heavy is the ideal for us. Match 2 on the play. Okay. That looks pretty threat heavy to me. We need to hit our 3rd land drop, but this is definitely the kind of hand that you should be keeping in this matchup, I think. just hit your third land drop and cast Green Blade after Green Blade. It'd be nice to have some duresses, perhaps, for this matchup, but at the same time, not a big deal. Not a big deal. A lot of options. Pretty happy with this. I took a peek at the spoilers in between while my opponent was loading in here. We can talk about the other, like, Elder Dragons, too. Quandrix, the 6 mana... Oh, there's our third land drop. Nice. The 6 mana Simic Elder Dragon. Flying, trample, 6/6, enters Cascade. We draw Blooming Marsh. All right. See if they have No More Lies. Interesting option for this list, Quandrix. It's big. Presumably it's a 2-for-1, but a little inconsistent, perhaps. I feel like if you can consistently cascade into, like, Outcaster Green Blades, you're feeling pretty good about that. Otherwise, you could just, like, cast it and cascade into removal on an empty board, which doesn't seem that good. It also says instants and sorcery spells you cast from hand have cascade, which we do have a lot of instants and sorceries, but I think I'm just going to go Green Blade here. The problem with getting the Lookout on the field is it dies to Lightning Helix, but I think I'd rather have something that guaranteed does not die to Lightning Helix on the field right here. So Quandrix is a consideration, but I would imagine it's not going to play particularly well in this style of mid-rangey list, and it's more of a build-around card perhaps, but even then, well, if we manage to resolve this Wanshitong, Planetarium of Wanshitong, we could be feeling pretty okay. Speaking of cards that could belong in Deserts lists, Wanshitong could be pretty good to include. Player Lookout, ping our opponent, try to hit them for 4 here. See if we can threaten to close out this game pretty quickly. If we can make them tap out for a Day of Judgment, they might have a hard time dealing with this Planetarium of Wanshitong in the foreseeable future. There's the Day of Judgment. Curious to know if they have a Spell Pierce here, though. So I'm actually just going to go for a Spinewoods Armadillo. Play around Spell Pierce. 7/7, Ward 3. Probably pretty tough for them to deal with outside of a board wipe here. And at the very least, if they have, like, Get Lost, they have to fully tap out pretty much. 5, 6, 7. We're threatening to fire up a Restless Cottage and just kill them next turn, too. Get Lost. Okay. Fully tapping out. Well, leaving up a blue again, though. Deceit. Yeah, I think I like the Deceit over the Green Blade here. I just want to know what's going on in their hand. We don't need to bounce anything. See what's up. Lightning Helix, stock up, Spell Snare. Okay. I guess I just take the Lightning Helix, I think, because it forces them to, like, cast stock up next turn. Keeps their life total at 10, which I like. They can Get Lost by Deceit, but they're not that happy about that. Maybe an argument for taking stock up, but this is more of a tempo idea that I'm going for here. Restless Cottage on top, sure, we'll draw into that. Off the map, that all seems pretty good. One reason for the Planetarium of Wanshitong from the sideboard, by the way. First off, dodge and Get Lost. I wanted something that dodges Get Lost. That's kind of the first part of that. Second off, we actually surveil kind of a lot with our Conduit Pylons. And obviously this just does it. So maybe in the perfect scenario, we're like playing Conduit Pylons in our turn, triggering the Planetarium, and then playing, like, activating the Surveil piece on their turn, or sorry, the Scry piece on their turn to cast stuff on our opponent's turn. Extra value. Well, this seems like a pretty good window to go for the Planetarium, I guess. I'll move to hit him. Try to put you to 5. Got to assume they're going to Get Lost here. There's the Get Lost. Let's go for the planetarium. See if that's any good. I've never cast this card in my life. I thought it would be interesting. How does it read exactly? Cast. Interesting. Put these both on bottom. Sure. Okay. That's value. We can grab a conduit pylons now. And then threaten to get extra surveils in the future here. Might as well crack a map. Extra free casts in the future, I mean. Pass it back to you. It's kind of like an Ultima from our opponent right now. They have to cast an Ultima pretty much. And then even then, I have all of these man lands on the field now. Feeling pretty good. There's a Day of Judgment. That's not going to be good enough. Let's get our free Surveil going on here. Cast a Winter Night Stories for free, sure. Let's just discard some lands. I'm going to go in on the Restless Cottages here. And then we can leave up 1 mana to... Oh, we can't leave up 1 mana to activate the Planetarium. It's probably better to just swing with 1 then. Let's exile a Lightning Helix in case they're on Shiko. Go for a Green Blade. Guess we'll grab another Conduit Pylons. I mean, it's kind of interesting, no? Crack a map on the cottage here. We'll just leave up enough mana to activate the Planetarium. Free Strider Lookout on top, sure. We will take it. Interesting little game this has turned into. Passes it back to me. Well, activate the Planetarium. Skip out on the future Festering Gulch here. Cast our Lookout. Got to assume they're on Jeskai Rev in this position. Play a Festering Gulch. Do a ping. Trigger the Lookout. Do another ping. I think I'm going to fire up Double Cottage. No? I think that sounds right. Into the face of Jeskai Rev. I think they kind of have to, like, just chump in that situation, which feels pretty good for me. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. I just auto-passed. I just clicked the auto-pass. Oh my. That's not the first time that's happened to me. Why is it so close? Okay. Well, we're still in this. I mean, we're still, like, in a pretty good position regardless. It does suck. They get to kill off one of my Restless Cottages. Let's not compound mistakes here. We'll continue to hold up the Planetarium of Wanshitong activation in their turn here. I can't believe I just did that. My finger slipped, gang. This is not the first time. Hopefully it's the last time, though. Opponent goes for a Consult the Star Charts. Okay. Hopefully it's the last time. Man, we were going to be in a pretty good position, too. Force them to chump with their monks. Obviously, that's not like a game-winning result. Exercise onto the Planetarium. Let's go ahead and fire it up. No mercy shown from our opponent. Fair enough. Guess we just put a Spinewoods Armadillo into play. We'll leave a Surak on top. Whee! It's not bad. I guess they can counter it. Maybe I should have thought about that potentiality. Lightning Helix onto the Free Strider Lookout. Okay. That's fine. So I can Bitter Triumph both of these monks, fire up my Restless Cottage, and kill them. And they don't even leave up a Spell Snare. Great. Well, never punished. Learn from my mistakes, folks. Learn from my mistakes. We live to see game 3. I'm glad I was not punished for that, because, That would be embarrassing. Still a little embarrassing, but no worries, no worries. Keep it cool. I think I'm just gonna run it back. We could cut a land for a cease maybe on the draw here. Makes sense to me. Go down. Sandstorm Verge is not super important in this matchup, but maybe it is nice utility. Let's just cut a conduit pylons, I guess. Run it like this. All right, game 3. Gonna keep this. Not perfect, but not bad. I like the Surak in hand. We have some card selection, some interaction. Seems fine. Opponent also keeps 7. Draw a Restless Cottage. We'll lead on that. Doesn't super matter except for the fact you just have to be conscious of your Outcaster Greenblades entering with at least 4 toughness is the ideal position to be in. Opponent goes for a consult. So I took a peep again at the other Elder Dragons from Strixhaven. Back on the spoilers conversation. I don't think any of the other ones really super impact deserts or make the cut for deserts lists, especially like the Golgari one, the one in the best color combination for deserts. But the new Ral, actually, the 3-mana sort of like Liliana-like Ral seems pretty good. Being able to reanimate, no more lies on the Esper Origins, that's fine. Being able to reanimate your Outcaster Greenblades in the late game, that's kind of huge game. I guess we'll just go for a Surak here since we drew a land. Consult the star charts for 4. Okay. Start trying to pressure our opponent with the Surak here. Play a Blooming Marsh, pass it back. I think next turn I might go... If they don't do anything, they might just pass. If they don't do anything, I'm going to Greenblade for an island, I think, to be able to hold up this Disdainful Stroke for like a board wipe. They just ripped the Ultima. Okay. I can't blame them too much, to be honest with you. We draw an Esper Origin, so let's go Greenblade into... There's maybe an argument for like casting the Esper Origins all in one turn, if they still have Graveyard Hate. Could just go for an island here. Could also just go for a tapped desert. Actually, I think I'm going to go for a Conduit Pylons. It's a desert. We can put it into play. We can start surveilling with this Esper Origins. And then next turn I can still kind of sneakily hold up Disdainful Stroke with this like filtered mana situation. Gonna skip on all of this stuff. Continue to dig. Exercise on the Outcaster Greenblade. That's fine. Bonnie Paul. Okay. Let's see if they counter this. I mean, they will if they can, for sure, right? Oko on top. Yeah, we'll draw into Oko, and Island is pretty nice for this Disdainful Stroke. Pretty great hit for us here. The inclusion of Esper Origins in this list gives us a lot of points in this kind of matchup where we eventually exhaust their ability to counter our stuff. And all of our creatures and threats functionally have ETBs for big value, essentially. I kind of consider like the, you know, if you play it right, the Freestrider Lookout has an ETB. Oko is a threat that ETBs makes an elk, you know, so on and so forth. I'm going to just rip the Cease here. I don't know that it's going to be super relevant in this matchup in general. Just try to cycle it here for a little extra life. Okay, I think I'm going to go for the Oko over the Bonnie. Actually, let's leave the Conduit Pylons mana available so I can filter into blue for Disdainful Stroke. They might counter this, though. Groovy, baby. Make an elk. Diverse threats. We're presenting diverse threats. Tishana's Tidebinder. Okay. Countering the elk. Takes away Oko's abilities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only have 5 mana. I'm gonna go for a Bitter Triumph here. Kill the Elk, be able to, or kill the Tidebinder, be able to swing in. The important piece here being that they only have 5 lands, so I don't have to worry about holding up Disdainful Stroke for... There's no reason to do this, but it is kind of funny to hold up Disdainful Stroke for a Jeskai Revelation. But if they had like 6 lands, perhaps, or per se, I think I probably at that point would hold up the Disdainful Stroke. Interesting little interaction just happened. I don't know if you guys saw it. But by actually going for the Oko ability, it has this line of text where it gives it hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Oko becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature you control until end of turn, except he has a hexproof. So actually, by going for that, it forced my opponent to get lost before my end step, giving me the opportunity to actually crack the maps on my turn, which is pretty relevant. We hit a land because of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana for my opponent. I'm just going to go for the Lookout plus Oasis here. Continue to try to play around No More Lies. Continue to hold up this Disdainful Stroke, so on and so forth. We can go for Body next turn. Pass it back. Be able to counter a Jeskai Rev is kind of huge game. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Day of Judgment, fine. Lessons from Life. Let's see if the Bonnie's good. This is a window that they can, like, Disdainful Stroke it. But I don't have any answers to Disdainful Stroke anyway. It resolves, huge. And a huge cow. Like, what up? Opponent's at 7 mana. Ultima. Go for the Disdainful Stroke. It'd be silly not to. Do we win? And we win. Okay. From the jaws of potential defeat, self-inflicted potential defeat, we pull victory. Okay. And we don't have the disgraceful 0-1 drop in this play until you lose challenge here. We get to move on to match 2. Awesome. Match 2 on the play. Okay, good enough. I seem to recall someone in my Discord, I don't remember who specifically it was, posted a screenshot. I think maybe Nacho, perhaps. Shout out. Could be wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong. Posted a screenshot that looked exactly like this. It was 5 lands, a Bitter Triumph, and a board wipe. I think maybe a Deadly cover-up. Or, a Day of Black Sun, perhaps. And they asked, do you keep this? Do you keep this blind? And I said, I think so, blind. Reason being, like, if we're in a matchup where, like a grindy matchup, at least we're going to be hitting our land drops. And that's a pretty good enough reason for me. Otherwise, if we're in a matchup that is faster, that's probably a creature matchup in this current meta of ours. In which case, like, having removal and having the board wipe is pretty relevant. We draw another board wipe. Day of Black Sun. Not the worst top deck. Just going to pass here. Best case scenario, they, like, just play out some, like, a Doc Orlock sort of kind of board. Clearly, this is airbending combo. Shocks in a Hollowed Fountain. Aang at the Crossroads. See what they hit here. Maybe they just hit the dock. I get to, like, Bitter Triumph Aang and then wipe their board. Appa. Not super ideal for me here. Going to go airbend a couple of lads. Gotta kill something. What do you kill in this situation? Bramble Familiar. Sees more cards. Aang is an actual body, though. When replayed off of the airbend Appa situation here. I think I kill the Aang, right? Bramble Familiar sees more cards, but this being an actual body to airbend in the future as well is kind of important for their strategy, I think. Let's just start ripping Conduit Pylons. We'll leave a Green Blade on top. It's not the best draw, but it is something real, at the very least. They have a lot of cards in hand. Could be a tough first matchup. I guess if we rip a Deadly Cover-Up and are able to collect evidence on it, to like get all the Appas out of their deck or something, we're feeling okay then. Feels like they're going to be holding up an Aang here. No, they shock and they play a Reality Fulcrum. They hit the Doc Orlock. Do they hit the full combo, though? That's the question. Because they can cast Doc Orlock and then cast the Adventure side of Bramble Familiar. And then if they hit Aang, I'm dead? Question mark? We'll see. Okay, not the Aang they needed, but they did hit Aang at the crossroads, which could hit the Aang they need. A lot of redundancy there. They hit Appa. Appa lets them go again with Reality Fulcrum and Aang. Got to assume they've done it by now. I feel like if they don't hit here, it's pretty unlucky for them. They get to see 6 more cards. 7 more cards. Top 5 cards? Yeah. Cross our fingers, I guess. Oh, they did not hit Aang. Okay, so they're kind of tapped out. I mean, they have 2 mana from the Reality Fulcrum, but that's not enough to cast their instant speed interaction here. They put another Bramble Familiar on the board. You and I both know I have a Deadly Cover-Up in hand. I don't have enough stuff in the graveyard to collect evidence on it, but it's still going to be pretty good. And there is a chance that I kind of surveil into something big off this Conduit Pylons. No. Tried to put the energy out in the universe, though. Well, we just go for the Deadly Cover-Up. I need to be able to clear the whole board here. A little unlucky for my opponent, but I'm feeling pretty good. Pass it back to him. More triggers. Draw for turn. Still have 4 cards in hand, kind of a lot. They didn't play the Starting Town from Exile. That's a little weird. I wonder if they're intentionally leaving up untapped mana there. Let's go for the Free Strider Lookout. Okay, no Aang in hand, it seems. Go for a Green Blade. Is their hand just lands? Is that what they're trying to tell me here? I mean, that's kind of crazy if so. Let's grab a Conduit Pylons in case we, like, have a dire situation where we need to try to surveil into, like, a, Airbender Ascension. Surveil into a, Esper Origins or something. Airbend my Green Blade. Restless Cottage. Yeah, let's go Pinion. Whiff. Not the end of the world. Hit you for 3. Kind of feeling pretty good after that board wipe. Honestly, genuinely, pretty unfortunate for my opponent, I think. Pretty unfortunate. Grab some more pings. Pass it back. A lot of tools in hand now. In our mana. Tools as in, like, options as far as our land drops go. We also have this Sandstorm Verge on the field to be able to take them off of blocks. They hit another Aang at the crossroads. Probably their best draw at this point in the game. Into another Appa. Kind of crazy. Okay, that is 3 Appas. This is the 4th Appa. 3 in their graveyard. So if I kill this Appa, they can't combo off anymore, right? No Doc Orlock on the field here, critically. They do get to tap the Reality Fulcrum and recast it, though. So they could hit the Doc and then be able to cast the Aang for free. Maybe hit their other Aang. We just have to cross our fingers that they don't hit a Doc Orlock here, basically. They go for the Reality Fulcrum. Actually, maybe in retrospect, it's better to go for the Aang. I guess if they cast the Reality Fulcrum, they get to also for sure cast the Aang, so that makes sense. They hit Aang Swift Savior finally. They're going to cast the Aang at the crossroads here. They shock in a breeding pool, makes sense. Okay. Taking a moment. For sure, it's just cast the Aang at the crossroads, right? Hold up the Swift Savior, although, yeah, they can cast the Swift Savior with the Llanowar Elves mana. Question is, do they hit Doc Orlok here? How many have we seen? There's Doc Orlok. So they're going to be able to go infinite. Airbender Ascension. They get to do the whole thing. I'm trying to think of, is there a world in which I can actually fight out of this? I don't think so. Not with the Aang at the crossroads on the field. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. But I think they get to do their combo, right? They'll play the Aang, exile the Appa, go back and forth forever, make infinite 1/1s, but also replay the Aang at the crossroads infinitely, / the Reality Fulcrum infinitely. So they're eventually going to hit a Badgermole Cub, at which point they can just do that over and over, although they don't have an untapped land. I'm pretty sure this is, like, deterministic, right? Because they'll be able to hold up Aangs on my turn to counter my board wipes. So we'll do a little fast forward here. They pass it back to me. They have an Aang Swift Savior in exile they can cast. I am dead. On to game 2. Bring in the board wipes. Bring in the Deceit. Kind of think that's it. There's maybe an argument for River Churn Monument. At a certain point, like, it gives us kind of a weird alternate win con, but also might theoretically probably not worth bringing in, but might make them mill over their combo pieces. Probably not worth it. Let's go down. I think we can cut a couple, at least one Requiting Hex. Could be a tough matchup for us here. We have a lot of interaction, but they also kind of have a lot of redundancy and eventuality, especially being on the Reality Fulcrum plan. Makes things kind of challenging. Maybe there's an argument for Disdainful Stroke then. Just denying the Reality Fulcrums keeps them off of real longevity. Also can counter Appa. Also can counter the Aang at the crossroads. It's kind of an interesting idea. I'm going to try it out at the very least. Could get punished for it. Let's go down. I kind of think maybe we go down the Bonnie Pauls. They just get chumped, and they're pretty easy for our opponents to interact with. Go down our Winter Night Stories. Maybe we just cut the Esper Origins too, and just rely on, like, wipe the board, try to keep them off of their value pieces, and kill them with our man lands eventually. Is that crazy? Do we want, like, go up 2 Surax and cut a land, maybe? Maybe the Surax don't do anything. This could just be a tough matchup. Maybe we want, like, the Okos. Maybe they'll have a hard time meaningfully interacting with the Okos once they're on the board. Go down a land. Try it like that. 25 still should be fine with the land cycling and whatnot. Okay, pretty different boarding strategy here. It's really just about keeping good interaction. This is pretty good. Being able to, like, see their hand early on is pretty nice, although the curve out's a little awkward as far as our mana is concerned. If we go for double black on turn 2, then we'll have a tapped land on our 3rd land. I think I'm just going to lead on the Lush Oasis anyway. We can postpone the Deceit. Maybe we can eventually get full value out of it. Opponent goes Hushwood Verge, Llanowar Elves. Day of Black Sun is a nice draw. Pass it back. Badgermole Cub. Are they missing a land drop here? Oh. Interesting. I think I'm going to do the slightly... I'm going to go for a... Play a Blooming Marsh. It's either Day of Black Sun for 1, kill off the dorks, leave them with a Badgermal Cub and a land, or kill off the Badgermal Cub, leave them with 2 mana. But spend my Day of Black Sun. It's probably just this, right? Puts them back to 1 mana, which is a little rough for them. They can't cast a Badgermal Cub until they draw another land. They draw another land. Yeah, that's not ideal. It's ideal for them. Do they have a second cub, though? There's a second cub. Okay. Not ideal for us. Maybe I have to go for the Deceit next turn. Keep them off of going nuclear. And maybe I just go for a Green Blade. They have 4 mana. I want to eventually hit my deadly cover-ups here. Let's go for black and blue. Makes our mana pretty good. Keep hitting our land drops. Next turn we can go Green Blade, get a Conduit Pylons, and cast a Desert Stew. Or hold up Disdainful Stroke. Cross our fingers that they don't go crazy with, like, Fulcrum Orlock here. Would probably be pretty bad for us. Land, Fulcrum, Orlock. I guess they don't even have to hit a land because they have double cubs. They're just going to airbend their Badgermal Cub. Oh no, they're going to airbend my Green Blade. Oh, that's fine. I'm much less worried about that. I don't need my Green Blade on the field. They need to just they need to kind of go crazy here, I feel like. Bramble Familiar. Kind of weird maybe that they didn't Bramble Familiar and airbend it. No? If I draw an untapped land here, I'm feeling pretty good. Just wipe the board. Another Deadly Cover-Up. Okay. Replay the Green Blade. I think maybe I just have to Desert Stew the Badgermal Cub, one of the cubs now. Grab another colored source here. Desert Stew a cub, keep them off of Uber mana at the very least. They'll have 5 still, but that's not necessarily enough to outright win the game. Alternatively, I hold up Disdainful Stroke, and they'll untap with 7 mana, and they could go land, Ang at the Crossroads, hold up the other Ang. I guess I just pass. Hold up the Disdainful Stroke. It's a little scary. There's also the option of evoking the Deceit, taking a look at their hand. Llanowar Elves, that's totally fine. Counter on the Airbender Ascension. They have nothing? They're holding up an Ang? They don't have blue mana. They're holding up Appa. Okay, they're holding up Appa, so I go target the Bramble Familiar to try to kill it. No, because then they just flash in the Appa. I guess I just... Ooh, Maelstrom Pulse is a good draw. It's actually a really, really good draw. So it'll let me threaten the cubs and hold up mana to Disdainful Stroke the Appa. Huge draw. Threaten the cubs. Threaten to send it back to the Stone Age a little bit here. They go to cast the Appa. No Appa. Crazy. Okay. Start hitting them, I guess. Well, now we're kind of chilling. I think we just hold up the Disdainful Stroke for forever. Hope they don't draw another cub, I guess. Maybe I hope they do. Maybe I hope they do draw another cub. I don't really know. I don't really know. Hair kind of crazy right now. Might have to go into hat mode. Beza. Yeah, I'll counter this, I guess. Gets a little annoying in the future with the Airbender Ascension situation. Another Lush Oasis. Okay, I guess we just hit them and play another Green Blade here. Hold up a Desert Stew. Kind of hard to imagine them winning this game. Maybe I actually just, like, kill the Bramble Familiar now, too. Denies their mana. Makes it even harder for them to really do anything meaningful next turn. No Bramble Familiar to target. I think we got this one. It's a Flood Farm Verge. Blue mana, importantly. Can cast an Aang, but they're going to have to Aang my Green Blade, probably. Which means I'm going to be able to resolve this Deceit. Or a Deadly Cover-Up and just take all the Aangs out of their deck. They, like, Aang my Green Blade. It goes into my nice little safe exile zone, at which point I can rip a Deadly Cover-Up. Maelstrom Pulse. Go for a Gulch. Move to combat. Could, like, Maelstrom Pulse the elf, keep them from being able to block with it. Maybe that's right. I don't know. I'm going to assume they have an Aang here, but maybe not. Okay, it's an Appa. Okay. That's fine. Presumably they save this elf. Maybe they airbend the Airbender Ascension. Who airbends the Airbenders? I guess it's Appa. Go for our Deceit. Seems pretty good here. Bounce the Appa. Take a little peeksy at their hand. What you got? Just the combo. Just straight up the combo. I guess we take Aang. Actually, we take Doc Orlok, huh? Doc Orlok lets them go Doc into Elf into Airbender Ascension. I don't know. Oh, they just scoop it up. Yeah, okay, fair enough. fair enough. On the draw, probably bring in a Requiting Hex. Probably go down Lessons from Life. Run it like that. Up a little more proactivity. Or, sorry, up a little more interaction, down a little more card advantage, but we're on the draw, so it should even out. Run it. Okay, game 3. Kind of a crazy opener. I'm going to keep it, I guess. Kill everything you've ever loved. Just need to hit our land drops now. And find a threat eventually, but that's kind of secondary to dealing with what they're about, I think. Starting town. Another land, huge. Land go. Starting town. All right, well that could add up. Double starting town starts get pretty painful pretty quickly. Badgermole Cub. Let's just go ahead and hex this while we're here. Island. I'm going to play... May seem a little weird, but I'm going to play a Sandstorm Verge so that I can Desert Stew for 3. Actually, I have these Bitter Triumphs in hand. That's probably just better to play untapped mana when it can be untapped. The Desert Stew scales pretty nicely anyway. We can just Bitter Triumph an Orlok if they play it. Shocks in a Hollowed Fountain. Another Cub. Okay. Holding up 2 mana here. Could be a Doc Orlok. Swings in. So why'd they shock? Just to hit me for 1? That doesn't seem that good. Guess we'll Desert Stew a Cub here. -2, -2. Ooh, Free Strider Lookout. Kind of a nice draw. Let's go for that. That'll help us win on the mana side of things eventually. Turning these Bitter Triumphs into ramp spells as well. Airbender Ascension, that's fine. That doesn't really disrupt me at all. I'm kind of a lose the first game, win the next 2 games kind of guy. I've noticed that that's historically my that's my modus operandi. I haven't won this one yet, but I'm feeling kind of okay. They're stuck on lands, presumably. Hits me for 1. Ooh, Outcaster Green Blade. It is a nice draw. Let's just go for the lookout here, though. Hold up the Bitter Triumph. Happy to draw a Green Blade. I might just rip a Bitter Triumph on a starting town just to trigger crimes. But I'm hoping they play like a something here, I guess. No. No somethings. I guess if I Bitter Triumph this, it keeps them from casting an A next turn. Oh, and they just scoop it up. Okay. 2-0. Not much to say about that one. Seems like they kept kind of bad hands in games 2 and 3. I guess they had to mull to 6 on game 3, if I recall. 2-0. Not so embarrassing. We have to win the next one to at least get our entry back, which is nice. And then if we go all the way, 5,000 gold and 30 packs? That's going to be good for my wild cards. Match 3 on the play. Okay. Pretty good hand. Run it. Pretty generally good mix of proactive, reactive. Not a whole lot to say about this other than no untapped mana, which is only a little bit of a problem for us. You just kind of you get used to it as a Deserts player. You just get used to it. You accept the tap mana into your heart. Untapped mana, untapped lands are a blessing, you know, and if you happen to be blessed by that, then enjoy it. But don't complain otherwise, because it's kind of what you're signing up for here. I've not really tried to branch out. How to put this? I feel like the amount of tapped like ping deserts I'm on feels right to me. It's close to 4 of each of the 3 2-color combinations. So I think I'm on like 4 Lush Oasis, 3 Soured Springs, and 4 Festering Gulches. There are some other untapped but colorless deserts in Standard that might be worth exploring. Just on the place of Conduit Pylons here. But I think there's one that is untapped that cares about like mounts, which is an interesting angle. Maybe I'll have to explore that. Mount deserts in the future. You just play like base green-white, and maybe you get away with playing a lot more untapped mana, which could be interesting. Opponent keeps a 1-lander. Absolutely psychotic. 1 red in presumably what is Isit prowess. We'll keep a Green Blade on top, skip on a Blooming Marsh, be able to hit our land drops off the Green Blade here. Another River Pirate Verge, kind of huge for us. Plots a Slick Shot show off. All right, check out my Green Blade though. Him big. I think I'm going to go for a Conduit Pylons here. My mana's already good. I think I just want to surveil into more lands. That is what I said. Okay. All right. I was kind of hoping for a ping desert for my lookout, but I'll take it. Slick Shot show off on the field. Still just double red for my opponent. Burst Lightning to the dome. Play a Restless Cottage. I think I'm just going to go for the Maelstrom Pulse here. Best kind of use of my mana this turn. Deals with the show off. Hit them for 4. And then next turn I can like Lookout plus Bitter Triumph. Roaring Furnace. RIP in peace, Green Blade. RIP in peace. Maybe we just go for the Esper Origins here then. On an empty board. Skip on a Bitter Triumph. I believe we have enough of those. Play our land for turn. Pass it back. Next turn, I think we get to fire up a Restless Cottage and play the Lookout with the extra mana from the Esper Motto in, perhaps. I mean, the real saving grace for this game 1 is my opponent keeping an awful hand. I don't know what that's about. Just like Mulligan, dude. It's not that scary. Play a Lookout. Ping my opponent. Get a Conduit Pylons. Do a little surveilling. Green Blade on top. Show enough. Fire up the cottage. Hit you for a cool 8. Exile the Burst Lightning. The writing's on the wall, my friend. The writing is on the wall. Set a stop on my upkeep here. They finally find the island. Water. I need water. This is actually a beautiful island. Shout out to Constantine Marin. Constantine Marin. I don't know. Got a little boat in the background. Bob Ross Mountains. That's nice. That's nice. All right. Dave Blacksun, up. Deadly Cover Up, down. A little too expensive here. Otherwise, a cease maybe? One cease, the first cease to help manage Storm Chaser's talent activations. Not bad. Also maybe an argument for Surak, but really, we're pretty nicely tilted for this matchup. Main deck. Lot of good, cheap interaction. 4 Requiting Hex. Gonna be enough to see you through. It's just about managing their long game plan at a certain point and not dying in the first 3 turns. Once you pass the first 3 turns, you need to be able to manage their graveyard a little bit, I think. Maybe we go up to a second cease. Gaining life is not the worst thing. Maybe go down to Lessons from Life. At a certain point, though, they might have a hard time dealing with Oko after a board wipe. Yeah, let's just run it like this. 2 cease, down to Lessons from Life. To this I say, good enough. Double black for a day of Black Sun with a little Bitter Triumph early on. Extra Bitter Triumph. Lead on a Blooming Marsh here. Opt for my opponent. Okay. Feeling decent about this. Let's try to think about maybe not spending 3 life on these Bitter Triumphs if we can help it, perhaps. Elusive Otter, Storm Chaser's talent. So a turn 3 Day of Black Sun looking pretty good already. Lush Oasis. Let's just go for the Blooming Marsh here. Hold on to the Oasis to ping with our Free Strider Lookout. Also might need to Bitter Triumph this turn, depending on what my opponent gets up to here. Just hits me for 2. That's fine. Verge? Pass? What could possibly be in their hand? Another Bitter Triumph. I think I'm just going to go for the Free Strider Lookout. Is that crazy? Green Blade on top? Sure. Let's make them deal with this. They have nothing. They have nothing in hand. I don't know, like a Seer maybe? What do they have? Like a Seer? 4 mana. Into the Floodmaw. Okay. I'm just playing around Spell Pierce by not going for the Day of Black Sun there, I think. That makes sense to me. Go for another Lookout. Go for the Lush Oasis. Start getting ahead on mana here. I'm not feeling too threatened by their board. And then I can go for Day of Black Sun for 1 without it being counterable by Spell Pierce. Three cards in hand for my opponent. A lot of red mana. Nothing good in their graveyard to get back. They could just spend the whole turn picking up the Into the Floodmaw, bouncing my Lookout, but then they stop the... Oh, Elusive Otter. You don't see this too often. Rips it. Do I block here? Otherwise I go to 6? Which puts me dead to a lot of stuff, but I have a lot of instant speed interaction at the same time, so I get to untap Day of Black Sun for 1 and cast a Green Blade. And hold back a Free Strider Lookout to block with if they have Slick Shot Show Off. I guess I just take it. Esper Origin's a pretty good draw. Let's go for the Day of Black Sun for 1. Let's go for the Green Blade. They could have a perfect 3 cards, I think, to kill me from this position. Let's grab a ping land with which we can do crimes. Maybe I should have gone for a black source. Just gonna pass here. Play around Slick Shot Show Off. If they have like Slick Shot plus Floodmaw plus Burst Lightning to the face, I am dead to that. But if I get to untap, I get to cast some Esper Origins and start feeling kind of good again. They just straight up pass. Okay. I think this could mean Eddy Merc Crab, but they'll have to tap out completely for Eddy Merc Crab. So I think I'm just going to hit them with the Green Blade. I guess I should have played the Lush Oasis first. I was too busy thinking about my second main phase. Definitely should have played the Lush Oasis first. Whiff on the lookout. Let's just go ahead and cast the first part of the Esper Origins here and then hold up these Bitter Triumphs. Maybe not the best sequencing on my part. Skip on the lands. Gain a little life. Pass it back. Let's anticipate the crab here. There's the crab. Go ahead and kill it off so they can't interact here. I think I feel okay about discarding a Bitter Triumph. Hold up a second Bitter Triumph. Or rather, the third. Stock up. Pretty good for my opponent. Not the best sequencing on my part last turn, though. Could have had them at 11, which might be a difference maker. Might be a difference maker if I hit another 2 deserts, right? 2 ping deserts puts them to 10 here. And then I have 9 damage on the board. So had I put them to 11, that would have been a lethal attack. Small mistakes, they do add up. Island. Elusive Otter. Storm Chaser's Talent. Back to me. Cease Desist. Kind of a great draw, actually, in this position. Allowing us to not lose to them just, like, picking stuff up out of their graveyard with the Storm Chaser's Talent. So we get Today of Black Sun for 1. Kill off their board. Let's just do a conservative thing again and swing for 4 here. Actually, maybe we just swing for the full amount. Maybe we swing for the full amount and I just rip this Esper Origins. Although that's not very good into... It's not very good into Spell Pierce. Let's just hit them and then see what they do. They go for an Into the Flood Maw. Maybe I take this opportunity to cease desist now. Take them off the stock up, take them off of the opt. And then they don't really have a whole lot going on in their graveyard. Oh. Like they could grab it into the Flood Maw, but doesn't mess me up that badly. Do the crimes. Hit him with another Festering Gulch. Grow the Outcaster Green Blade. Now this alone is lethal over the course of a couple turns. Draw another Gulch. Guess we just pass here. Let's hold the Gulch to discard the Bitter Triumph if we need to. Stock up. Not bad. I am at 10 now, though. Clawed my way back up from 6. Makes things pretty hard for my opponent to just kill me out of nowhere with how few cards they have at this point. Might be seeing a match win here. 3 in a row. Keep it rolling. Taking a moment on this stock up. Resolves the stock up. So I've never done one of these metagame challenges before, but it's interesting. Very limited sample size, obviously, but much more meta matchups thus far compared to the traditional events that I've been running. Ping you with a Festering Gulch here. Look out into Festering Gulch. Get another desert going. Nice little surveil action. Yeah, we'll keep the Maelstrom Pulse on top. Does that really matter, though? I can kill 2 Storm Chaser's Talents, which is kind of interesting. They have to have some kind of interaction here. Another crab. Fully taps out for the crab. Okay. Well, you know I had to do it to him. Let's discard the Hex. Keep our life total high. They buy themselves a turn. They can pick up a stock up out of their graveyard, or they just rip a stock up. That's probably best case scenario for them. Next turn we get to go for the Esper Origins, though. It's actually kind of annoying for them if I, like, Maelstrom Pulse these Storm Chasers talents, though. Because they're going to probably grab some action here, play the action, and either I kill the action and they die, or... Oh, show off into sleight of hand. Well, there's no way this leads to a lethal attack. They have to leave this back to block, into opt. Yeah, they just don't have the mana for this to miraculously give them lethal. They hit me for 5. Send a message. All right, speak your truth, brother. On to match 4. Match 4. On the draw. Probably got to put this back. It's kind of close. Just no black mana. That's pretty much the only thing keeping it back. Okay. I am the kind of sucker that will keep this kind of hand. Pretty likely that you want the Restless Cottage eventually. Cross our fingers. Okay, that's a good start. Lead on a cottage here. Opponent on a hollowed fountain. Okay. Pack it in for possibly another long one, although this could be Azorius Flash / Tempo. Draw a Deserts Dew, not a bad draw. Maybe a good argument for playing a blue source there. Probably a small mess up. Because if I like go Blooming Marsh, draw a Lessons from Life, I could go Green Blade, get an untapped land, and then untapped Desert, and then cast the Lessons from Life. Enduring Innocence. That could be a problem. I think I'm really happy to draw this Lookout, though. Because if they don't answer this right away, this threatens to get me a bunch of land drops, which having a bunch of mana means you're able to double spell, which is kind of a pretty nice way to win against these tempo strategies early on, if you manage to accelerate. Tapped Multiversal Passage on red, holding up mana for an Aven Interrupter, or they're swinging in with the Flood Pits Drowner. Dang. Oh, they're just ripping it. Okay. They're clearing out a blocker. I think I'm okay with this. I'll just replay the Lookout and do a ping. Spinewood's Armadillo. Actually kind of relevant in this matchup. Do a ping. Try to hit our land drops here. Let's go for more deserts for a big green blade. A nice little 6 mana, 7/7 reach ward 3. Blocks all of their flyers. Kind of hard for them to manage outside of being on like Avatar's Wrath also. We're not in a bad spot. We get to play a green blade next turn, and then Deserts do something on their turn. Bonnie Paul. I can't really play around 3 steps ahead. Or sorry, no more lies here. Just go for the green blade. Let's grab another ping land, I think. If they let my Free Strider Lookout continue to exist for forever, eventually I'm just going to bury them with my big beasties. Pass it back. Reach on the Lookout here. Wouldn't mind drawing a Deadly Cover-Up just to manage these Enduring Innocences forever. But I think I just go for a Bonnie Paul next turn. Start swinging in with the green blade. Are they thinking about flipping Aang? That doesn't seem right, but I don't know. Doesn't seem right to me. They'd have to tap quite a lot to do that. They could just fire up the Abandoned Air Temples. Kind of interesting. They go to transform Aang, Swift Savior, into Aang and La, Ocean's Fury, leaving up 1 mana for a Spell Snare? I mean, I'm gonna go for it. What you got? Do you have the Spell Snare? It's fine if you do, I guess. Definitely doesn't beat me. And I'm happy to get this this crime trigger going. Sandstorm Verge or Restless Cottage? Actually kind of an interesting spot. We already have a cottage on the field, and the Verge gives me more options in the future, really. Like, quite a lot. They can't really swing with Aang and Law here because I hit another desert. They just swing with Aang and Law. Feed it into the wood chipper for some reason. Okay. Are they dead? 9, 10, 11, possibly 12, 13, and fire up the Restless Cottage. I can maybe put them to 1. And Maelstrom Pulse the Enduring Innocence so they can't fight me back on life. Could also just play Bonnie. Feel like they made a real bad move there. Fully tapping out and giving up the Aang. I guess we'll start by pinging them. See if I hit another ping desert. I do. I feel pretty incentivized to put them to 1 in the deck with lands that literally deal 1 damage to my opponent. Maelstrom Pulse the Enduring Innocences, so now they can't gain life off of those. And next turn I can just cycle my Spinewoods Armadillo, find a ping desert and kill them. Okay, ball's in your court. It's really, really weird move for them. Giving up all that agency on my turn. Maybe their hand is like all lands and they felt like they didn't really have a choice, but that really can't be the case. I think they just erred. They got a little too hasty. There's an Avatar's Wrath. Genuinely does not matter. Genuinely does not matter. Puts me to 11. I can threaten to fire up the Restless Cottage. I can just play a Green Blade. Let's just go for the Green Blade here. Oh, I can't. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I can't go for the Green Blade. Right. On account of the Avatar's Wrath that they just cast. Cycle the Spinewoods Armadillo. Get a Festering Gulch. Ping ya? Is it good? Wee! On a game 2. Yeah, weird decision from my opponent there. What do we want? Day of Black Sun's kind of good. It's about as good as Deadly Cover-Up. Except I don't have to collect evidence to be able to manage the Enduring Innocences and Enduring Curiosities with it. It's probably worth having all 3. It might just be worth having all 3 of both of them. Go up to Surax, I think. Maybe it's a little small potatoes. Requiting Hex, I think we can go down to like 2 Requiting Hexes. They're good against the Voice of Victories, but not much else. We don't want any counter magic. Maybe you do want the Requiting Hexes. Maybe we go to 3 hexes, down 1 pylons on the draw, 25 lands. Maybe we just run it like that. Surat could be okay, but we need early interaction, board wipes, play threats late. So, like, Surak is really just a card to pressure grindy matchups, pressure our opponents that are playing counterspells. And yes, our opponent is technically playing counterspells, but not for the same ends. They're like kind of happy to let a Surak resolve, I think. Yeah, just run it like this. Well, obviously they can't counter a Surak, but what I mean is like they can just ignore it. You know what I mean? Especially on the draw. Maybe on the play it's maybe on the play it's okay. I'm gonna keep this. No real double black. We have the conduit pylons to be able to access double black, but feeling pretty okay. We have removal for a turn 2 Voice of Victory. And eventually we get to cast a big Day of Black Sun. Hitting our land drops, it's all pretty good. Okay, more removal. Spinewoods Armadillo. It's just another land, really. I think I'll skip on that. A nice free way to set up our deadly cover-ups in the future. Starting town. Enduring Innocence. Hey, Free Strider lookout. What a draw. Okay. I like this game now. This turned into a good one. Day of Black Sun in hand, able to manage their board eventually. But in the meantime, yeah, we don't really care about High Noon that much. Because we get to do our crime thing regardless. Do crimes. Try to hit extra land drops here. Grab a Blooming Marsh. 2 mana available. Could be a No More Lies. I think I'm just going to hold up the Bitter Triumph. Do I attack? I think I attack. Just in case they have like a Flood Pits Drowner anyway. I might as well hit them here. It means I won't be able to block their Enduring Innocence, but yeah, they do have a Flood Pits Drowner anyway. Okay. Are they going to double block here? I think I saved my lookout. No? Sounds right to me. Doesn't really matter which one we kill. The lookout is like threatening to hit at least 2 more land drops for me if they don't deal with it soon. They pass. Go for another Lush Oasis. Tishana's Tidebinder. Okay. Not bad. But now we get to resolve this Winter Night Stories because they cast their 1 spell. They countered a land. Ooh. Every new blue player's dream. Counter your land drop. Discard an Armadillo, I think. We could just discard 2 lands here and cast this Armadillo. I actually also like discarding 2 lands. Because now that neither of these commit crimes immediately, so maybe there's an argument for keeping the Armadillo, cycling it for a ping land, just to keep everything going that way. I could also just cast the Armadillo. Maybe we discard the Armadillo. Hold up this Bitter Triumph. Swing it in. I think I'm just going to try to kill this. See if they commit anything else to the board here. Spells now. Okay. Pretty good. I am at 11. Yeah, I don't like being at 11. I guess what I do is I flash back this Winter Night Stories, and I hold up this Requiting Hex. Maybe I should have thought about holding on to that Armadillo a little longer. This resolves. Well, start getting rid of some lands. My Free Strider lookout is turned off right now, so ping land's actually not too relevant. I think I want the Surveil here. I could think about maybe just playing the Cottage. Well, there's a Bonnie Paul. That's not that bad. The Tidebinder's a little kind of a pain in the ass right now, though. Yeah. Enduring Innocence. Okay. I guess I have to go for a board wipe here. Hope that they don't have interaction for it. That's pretty much all I've got, right? I don't know why I tapped like this. I guess I had to tap like this, but I am still holding up black mana for a Requiting Hex if need be. No More Lies. Fair enough. Pass it back. They're getting close to sacrificing the High Noon as a good play. I have to block the Tidebinder. Oh, okay. They fire up the Air Temple to put me to 5. Kind of a critical range. Interesting. 1 card left in hand. I can fire up the Cottage. What do I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fire up the Cottage is 5. Swing with it 3. 3 left to sack a food. I think that's gonna do it. I think they got me here. I can't Requiting Hex to gain an extra little life. Fire up the cottage, sack of food. If I had one more untapped land, one more untapped mana, I could Deserts do the Enduring Innocence and survive. Swing for 4. See if I can bait them out to make a mistake here. See if they, like, cast a Flood Pit Strouder for some reason. I don't think they're going to do it, but could happen. Oh, I don't have a creature Requiting Hex onto anyway. Okay. All right, fair enough. They're going to do it. There's no reason not to. On to game 3. I'd like to win this one, folks. Yeah, the Requiting Hexes fall short, pretty short eventually. A lot of 3 mana threats to have to deal with. Maybe we want the Surax on the play. Maybe we want the Okos on the play, actually. Kind of annoying for them to deal with the Okos. They have flyers eventually, but if I stick one, they don't have great removal for it. Maybe we go down like the deadly cover-ups. Like go down a couple board wipes, go up a little more proactive stuff. Maybe we cut the Lessons from Life here. Run it like that. Try to be a little more threatening on the play here. Match 4. Game 3. Okay, a little risky bisky, but I'm going to keep it. Try to surveil into our 3rd land drop. Little risky bisky, but it's a pretty threatening hand. Just nonstop green 3 drops. Skip on a Maelstrom Pulse. Ruh-roh. You don't like to see that. You'd rather just see a land on top and breathe a sigh of relief. I'd hate for this to be how it ends. Okay. Never punished. Never punished. It's just one land. That's all we needed. High Noon. Don't care about that too much. Let's go for the Lookout here. Because if we draw... Our best like case scenario is we draw another ping land, I think. Double Lookout on the field and start like burying them in mana advantage. Another High Noon. Well, I'm going to take my Green Blade opportunity here, I guess, then. Go for a Lush Oasis. Actually, we already have double green. Go for a Soured Springs. Do a ping. Another Soured Springs. Big mana. Feeling pretty good now. Kind of thinking we're going to win. They could rip an Avatar's Wrath here, and it's fine, but it's not, like, just game-winning good, you know? It's fine. Beza. Yeah, it's fine. Not bad. Deadly Cover-Up. Interesting. Maybe we just go cycle the Armadillo, play another Lookout. Ping. Double Crime. Start swinging. I could just kill the Beza here. Keep them from Avatar's Wrathing it to replay it. I could go like... I could go like... Play another Lookout. Bitter Triumph. Swing. And then if they have Avatar's Wrath... I'm not happy, but I'm also kind of... Oh, wait. No, I have to Bitter Triumph the Beza in their upkeep. Okay. Right. So I won't be able to swing. A little unfortunate, but I get double crimes out of this. It does give them the opportunity to maybe respond to this, but then they're not Avatar's Wrathing, and I'm kind of chilling. Go for the Bitter Triumph. They could respond by, like, airbending the Beza with Aang, which is fine. They really have to deal with the Green Blade eventually. They're going to be able to chump with Fish for a little while. But I'm also getting enough mana on or lands on the field to be able to fire up the Restless Cottage as well, on top of other things, which should help us sort of snowball this advantage. They sack a High Noon to kill my Green Blade. That's their whole turn. Okay, I'm feeling kind of okay about that. Let's go for the Sandstorm Verge. Could be relevant. Go for a Lush Oasis. Big man on the field. Maybe I just rip an Armadillo here. Kind of a good one spell if you're going to cast one spell. Tapped Starting Town. They just rip a High Noon. Huh. Actually, I'm going to fire up the Restless Cottage here. It's a guaranteed crime, and I have enough mana to cast a Surak after. Do crimes. Play a Swamp. Festering Gulch. Infinity Man. Infinity Man with the Infinity Mana. Don't know what I'm saying right now. I just want to win this game. Hit them down to 7. All right, Avatar's Wrath be damned. Play a Surak. Even if they Wrath here, I still get to fire up the cottage. And it's just kind of delaying the inevitable. They're not ahead enough for it to be super, super good. It's really a card that's better when you have board position, at least a little board position. Floodpit's Drowner. Floodpit's Drowner in the main phase. Targeting something here. I get a little redraw with the Surak. That was their one spell here. Do a ping. Do some crimes. I mean, this is so annoying for them because they just can't interact with it meaningfully outside of killing my lookouts, which they're not that inclined to do with this deck. Once they're on the field, outside of Tishaana's Tidebinder, they don't really have great ways to manage this. And the damage really is adding up. I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pings. If I didn't ping them 7 times, they would be at 11 right now, and this would be a much different game. Let's fire up a cottage. Probably won't be activating that this turn. Esper Origin's a little awkward into the High Noons. They could airbend my cottage here with Aang, but gonna swing. Enduring Curiosity. That's fine. Maybe I should have taken... There was an opportunity to take another Restless Cottage off of one of my Free Strider lookouts. Maybe I should have done that. Feeling okay, though. Blocking and killing one of my lookouts. Trading with the Enduring Curiosity here with my cottage. They have 2 cards in hand. I still have a pretty decent board. Enter the Armadillo. Sometimes you just cast it, and it's not bad. Ward 3. Feeling like I got this one. That's your one spell. All right, GG. GG. Do crimes. Love these triggers, man. Love me a good Free Strider Lookout game. Probably my favorite card in the whole deck. I know I glaze Outcaster Greenblade quite a lot, but honestly, I think Free Strider Lookout is the card for me. Like when that gets going and you're just hitting like 2, 3 extra land drops every turn cycle, or one or two extra land drops every turn cycle, I think it's feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Match 5 on the play. All right, solid hand. All tapped mana, unfortunately, but, you know, we persevere. Lead on a Gulch, perhaps. Not really sure. Sometimes it's better to lead on the cottage. Sometimes it's better to lead on the Gulch. I don't know. Probably doesn't really matter. Drawn to a Conduit Pylons, though, is a pretty big game. Another Jeskai matchup. I think I'm just gonna jam a green blade. Big enough to dodge lightning helix, the iron crag. Let's go for the pylons instead of the blooming marsh. Important that this enters as a 3/4 when our opponent probably has lightning helixes in their deck. Just grab a Soured Springs here. Start getting our blue online. Got to imagine this is like Jeskai control with Ugin top end if they have the Iron Crag. United Battlefront. Okay. Now we know what this is for sure. This is Simulacrum Synthesizer. They double Repurposing Bay. Huh. Let's go for a lookout. Let the pings commence. Draw Lessons from Life, which is kind of nice, actually, in this position. Hit them for 5. Threatening kind of a lot of damage next turn. Lethal damage, in fact. See if they can start putting a bunch of robots on the field. We have 2 Maelstrom Pulses in the list and 2 Day of Black Suns. Actually pretty good cards fighting against what they're doing. Both let us sort of clear their board and swing in. Day of Judgment. Fair enough. Let's keep the pressure up here. Go for a green blade. Let's grab our Sandstorm Verge. This could be relevant. Play a Lush Oasis. We're threatening to just kill them next turn anyway with the Restless Cottage. 6/7 green blade for 3 mana. Gets us a land, and we get to hold up interaction. Because it's so damn efficient. The most efficient creature in Standard, question mark? I don't know, maybe. Maybe. Could be Badgermole Cub, weirdly enough. I think Badgermole Cub would still see play as a 3-drop. Maybe it would see play even as a 4-drop. Hard to say. Certain lists, maybe. 3-drop for sure, it would still see play. Maybe not as much. Maybe it wouldn't be as ubiquitous, but it would still see play. Simulacrum Synthesizer on the field, so they can Repurposing Bay for a second 3-drop artifact. Probably just like a Perilous Snare. Make a robot in the process. Yeah, maybe they're starting to feel pretty good here. They have to do the smart thing, which is go for a Perilous Snare rather than another Simulacrum Synthesizer. Otherwise they die. They do the smart thing. Alright, kill off a construct. Draw a land. Well, I think we go for the Lessons from Life rather than swinging in here. I think we have to draw into some real action, perhaps. Like a Maelstrom Pulse, maybe? Let's just go for the Conduit Pylons. Bonnie Paul, sure. It's not... I don't know if it's good enough anymore. They kind of had a great response with the Day of Judgment, double Repurposing Bay, following up with Simulacrum Synthesizer into Perilous Snare to really, like, seal their advantage. Little do they know, I have 3 Cease Desist in my sideboard, which, you know, the desist side is not always relevant, but it's very good in this matchup. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Another Simulacrum Synthesizer. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm dead. Maybe leaving Bonnie Paul on top is a mistake. Because they'll be able to sack one of their Repurposing Bays for the Hasty Golem piece. I guess actually it doesn't... Am I just actually dead this turn? I think I might just be dead this turn. They grabbed the Fire Crystal. Oh, and hit me for 24. Great. Wow. Crazy. Kind of resulted in kind of a crazy curve out for my opponent. I respect this list kind of, but I don't think it's like super good. Bring in the Cease Desists. Go up the Day of Black Suns, go down the Deadly Cover-Ups. I don't think Day of Black Sun is like fantastic in this matchup, but it is better than like our other removal, right? Maybe we go up a Deceit, up an Oko, up Surak, more threats. Disdainful Stroke to counter. United Battlefront, that seems a little loose. I think if anything, maybe just requiring Hex to manage the one or two robots that may pop up. I think this is okay. Maybe the first Disdainful Stroke's okay. Try it like that. 2 Hex, 1 Stroke. Game 2, on the play. Sure. Not perfect, but we have the Cease Desist in hand. We have clear avenues to getting up to enough mana to cast it. We don't have great ways to manage their early plays, but this often is a dirtly deck. Sometimes they do the like turn 3 synthesizer into turn 4 synthesizer, but a lot of other times they are just kind of dirtling around for a few turns before they start popping off. Festering Gulch. Okay. Best draw for us now is maybe like a Free Strider Lookout just to get up to 6 mana that much faster. Clay-fired bricks. Little Cease Desist in hand. Love to see it. Surak. That might be better than the Green Blade. It's bigger up front and makes the removal a little more awkward. Repurposing Bay. Don't love to see that. There's a Free Strider Lookout. I'm going to go... How do I play around Day of Judgment here? Maybe I just go for a Green Blade. Grab a Lush Oasis. Doesn't super matter at this point. And then I play a Forest. So next turn I can go Lookout plus Lush Oasis. And then if they Day of Judgment, at least I'm like kind of back in it that way. Shocks in a Sacred Foundry. There's the Day of Judgment. We go Lookout plus Lush Oasis. Begin the pings. More pings is more good. Put them to 13. Would have been nice to maybe hit a Restless Cottage off of that. This video is encroaching on one of my longer videos for sure. Becoming one of my longer videos for sure. They go Simulacrum Synthesizer. I gotta imagine they're gonna activate this Repurposing Bay and get absolutely ranched by my desist here. They activate the Repurposing Bay, sack the Clay-fired bricks. Oh, Cease Desist. There have been some haters in the chat, in the comments, saying, I don't think I've ever seen you cast the desist side of this. And you may be right. I don't cast it that often. But when I do, ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's pretty good. Whee! Hit you with a little ping action. Do the crimes. We get away with 2 crimes this turn. Keep a Maelstrom Pulse on top. The first one being the desist, of course. Clay-fired bricks. Who cares? Small potatoes. Teach you to leave up some mana in the future. Repurposing Bay. I think maybe I just kill the Repurposing Bay here. Feels right to me. Kind of a key card for them to assemble their like specific pieces. We can go for a Green Blade. They could wipe the board, but then I also have an Armadillo to follow up with. I can't really wipe the board forever. Grab more pings, I think. Hit them to 3. Let's hold on to the Lush Oasis in case this whole board lives and I get to trigger crime again. Doesn't super matter, I guess. United Battlefront. What you got? It's got to be kind of like double Perilous Snare, but even then, it's not that good. Could be double Synthesizer. Rest in peace. We don't really care about that too much. does machines. Mill 2, draw 2, discard 2. But with the rest in peace on the field, you can't level it up meaningfully. I like this card. I think this could be kind of a good card. I bet it's just like a 1-of in their deck, and it kind of makes sense. Not with the rest in peace, though. Spring-loaded saw blades. Kills off my lookout. RIP. Does pings. Does pings. Hit you to 3. I'm just going to hold the armadillo, I think. I think I just hold. Better into a possible board wipe as an answer, I guess. Okay. I can read your mind, Dark Merengue. Levels up, does machines. Does nothing, in fact. We draw lessons from life. I think I have enough mana to do both. Another cease desist? Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. Let's do both. Extra land in play. Get an armadillo going. We have cease desist in hand. Don't feel compelled to cast it quite yet. What does this do when it levels up? At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 1/1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot creature in addition to its other types. I think I'm just going to hex this. I don't want to show them that I have more than one cease desist. We don't need to give them that info. And they scoop it up. Great. All right. On to game 3. Is this match 5? Is that right? I think I'm going to run it back as is. They definitely could ranch me on the play, so this could be the end of our run. But if they dirtle around again and we manage to land a 6 cease desist, then I think we're feeling pretty good. Match 5, game 3 on the play. Sorry, draw. I don't know where my mind is anymore. 2 hours into the video almost. I think this is fine. The important piece here being Maelstrom Pulse, just to be able to answer a turn 3 synthesizer. Not a whole lot of other action, but opponent mulls to 6. Day of Black Sun, not the worst draw. Let's just lead on to conduit pylons here. Try to avoid lands as a draw. I think Lessons from Life is okay though. Clay-fired bricks, fine. I'll go Blooming Marsh turn 2. Pass. See if they jam their synthesizer. Tapped Hollowed Fountain. Interesting. Esper Origins. Let's go for that. They could have a No More Lies post-board. We'll draw a Surak. I think that's okay. Hit you with the Soured Springs. Pass it back. Could be United Battlefront here. We do have a pretty good answer to a nutty double synthesizer hit, though. Single synthesizer. That is certainly manageable. Yeah, I think you just have to kill the synthesizers on site, is kind of my experience in this matchup. It'd be nice to think about a future where I get to hold it and 2-for-1 them, but skip on a Day of Black Sun. Problem is if they have like a follow-up. Oh, there's a United Battlefront. Okay. If they have a follow-up repurposing bay to like start just going synthesizer. Well, there's double repurposing bay. Okay, we're not dead yet. But I think I need to rip this Lessons from Life and try to draw into like a Cease Desist or Maelstrom Pulse. I think holding up Disdainful Stroke is pretty meaningless at this point. Kind of missed our window there. Not the worst draws, but we can manage the first wave of robots. It's just them hitting the second wave with haste. That's going to do us in. Synthesizer 1. Best case scenario, they accidentally draw the fire crystal and they're not able to tutor it off the repurposing bay. They give up a bay. Are they just going to go for the fire crystal now? They just go for the fire crystal now. Interesting. Interesting. That could be a little dangerous for them, no? Maybe not if they're holding up like a negate here. How do we play this? Huh. Yeah, this is a tough spot. I think I go Free Strider Lookout. Day of Black Sun for 0? Or maybe I just like play 2 creatures, including I have a feeling they have a negate. Or at least that's what they're representing here. I like leading on the Lookout because this gives us a chance at the very least of like getting enough mana to double spell meaningfully next turn. There's Cease Desist. 2 going to the bottom of my library. That could be a death sentence. I think I have to... Maybe I just have to try to survive 1 turn. I think I'm toast. I think they're going to counter this. Or it just doesn't matter. I'm gonna grab more potential damage here. Pass it back to them. They get to make robots and threaten my life in a pretty scary, hostile way. Planes. Could be the end of your boy. They at least get 1 more synthesizer off of the clay-fired bricks, which means 1 more robot, and then if they have another 3-drop artifact in hand, that's 2 extra hasty robots on top. And they're not that lethal, but if their last card is like Perilous Snare, I'm super dead. Oh, just Repurposing Bay. Interesting. Do they have another 4-drop artifact in the deck, though? Maybe like the one that makes a white Auracite. Nice. Clear a blocker. Make another hasty guy. Do you have another way to clear a blocker? No. Puts me to 14. Cease Desist off the Tizop. Cross our fingers. Spirit Energy. Save the run. I don't know that there was anything I could have done here in retrospect. Maelstrom Pulse. Maelstrom Pulse. So we Day of Black Sun for 0. And then I Maelstrom Pulse. Do I Maelstrom Pulse the Simulacrum Synthesizer or the Fire Crystal? It's probably the Synthesizer, right? I don't know. They could have like a Spell Pierce in hand. Fire Crystal means their robots have haste, but Simulacrum Synthesizer makes the robots. Plus, they don't have material on the field to like probably get another synthesizer immediately. Hold up the Disdainful Stroke here, I guess. Also hold up Cycle the Armadillo. Okay. Well, maybe Top Deck Maelstrom Pulse keeps us in this. Do they have a flash? Flash and a spring-loaded Saw Blades. That's fine. So they can turn that into another Simulacrum Synthesizer. But they need another... Oh, a Stelly Reclaimer. Disdainful Stroke. Disdainful Stroke is good. Okay. Does flipping this just kill me? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Wait, can they crew it though? Oh, tap 2 untapped artifacts. Wow. Wow. What a way for this to end. Okay. All right. Pretty good run though. I had fun. Hope you had fun. 4-1. That's not a bad record. That's not a bad record. Lost to the artifacts deck. You don't see that too often though. 4 wins. Made back our entry plus 5 packs and 500 gold. First time ever doing one of these. Can't be too upset. Got some good packs. Let's go ahead and open those up. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent run. We played to our outs in that last match. Them being on the play is a little rough. And then, like, not seeing the ceased assists. Maybe a little rough, too. Northwind Avatar. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be, you know, if this is not your first rodeo here, you know, I'll be posting standard content on the daily. A lot of deserts, but if it is your first rodeo, this is not the first time I've played deserts on the channel, and it won't be the last. So if you like this kind of thing, I'll be back tomorrow posting standard content on the daily. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Feel free to join the Discord if you want to be part of a small but pretty active community of people brewing, sharing deck lists, giving thoughts and critiques. It's chill. We like to keep it chill. Not much else to say about that. I stream on Fridays, every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for about a few hours. Usually doing like traditional standard events and playing viewer decks. You can donate to have your deck played on stream. You can find details about that in the Discord if you want to join that, which you can find details about probably in the description down below or in my channel description at the very least. Well, that's all I have today, folks. Let me know what you think about the list. Appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.